So, we have been discussing constraint satisfaction problems, and I'll give you a 1 minute summary of what we have been saying so far. So, we started by saying that we need to go inside the state and we need to define a representation, any representation that allows us to have a nuanced understanding of what is happening inside the state. And one such representation is the constraint satisfaction problem representation. It is a very simple representation. It says that each state has a set of variables and variables take values, and for now we will focus on discrete variables. So, that means it takes discrete values and values are from the domain di. So, we have a variable xi which can take a value from domain di, and then we have constraints, and these constraints may be written in some representation also. Let us say I allow inequality. So, for example, in the case of map coloring, and let us say we are trying to color the map of Australia, the constraints would be that two adjoining states cannot be equal to each other. For example, Western Australia is not equal to Northern Territory, right. And we have been taking this as our running example. So, in this case we have 7 states, Western Australia on the west, Northern Territory on the north, South Australia on the south, and on the east we have Queensland, New South Wales and Victoria, and as an island state we have Tasmania. And let us say you want to color them using red, blue and green, and so those are our values. Okay. So, we discussed that, and we then defined a backtracking search algorithm, and the backtracking search algorithm essentially said that I will start from an empty state, I will start from an empty assignment, no variable has been assigned any value, and then I will start to search. You must have, we have discussed any problem solving from an AI point of view involves some kind of search, and so we are going to use the search where we will decide on one variable, and we discussed last time that the order of variables sort of does not matter, and so we can decide variables in any order. It can be a dynamic order, but at any given node we will only choose one variable and branch on that, and not choose different variables and branch on different variables, because if we do that we will be unnecessarily exploring permutations of variables, which is not important. So, we will choose a variable, let us say we pick Western Australia, and then we will branch on all values of it. So, in this case we branch on 3 values, Western Australia being red, green and blue, and say we go to red node, and then we again branch, and let us say we branch on Northern Territory, and so this is how we branch. Notice that there is no point on branching on Northern Territory being red. So, even if we branch on Northern Territory being red, the state is going to say, oh, constraint violated, backtrack, and whenever a state says constraint violated, backtrack, you are going to backtrack, right, and this keeps going. For example, at some point you may branch on Western Australia red, Northern Territory green, and some value for Queensland. Now, just intuitively look at this and tell me if there is any state you think cannot lead to a solution. Which one cannot lead to any solution? The right bottom, which is Western Australia red, Northern Territory green and Queensland blue. Does everybody see this? Why would it not lead to a solution? Because South Australia has no value remaining, all its values are gone. However, at this present moment of time, my algorithm does not know that there is no solution there, and that is actually an important bit for you to think about. This is called the idea of detecting failures early. If you look at the state with Western Australia red, Northern Territory green and Queensland blue, we do not have any value remaining for South Australia. Even though we do not have any value remaining for South Australia, and there is no way that the search can proceed and lead to a solution, at this point in time we do not know this, or at least the algorithm does not know this. The algorithm thinks that it will keep searching and at some point it might find a solution. And of course, you and I know this. We can quickly see and say, there is just no point in searching. So, what we did is what is called inference. We made an inference internally in our brain and said, there is no point going forward because there will be a failure, and that was we actually proved it. We have a proof If you think about what is search, search is let us try this option, let us try that option, let us try that option, at some point we will succeed. What is inference? We are saying we have a proof that we should not go forward because it will not lead to a solution, or we have a proof alternatively that we should go forward because it will absolutely lead to a solution. And if I can do this, I do not need to do search, because I know exactly what value to give after inference. And so, in today's lecture, we will try to understand the dichotomy between inference and search. But before we do this, before we get to interesting inference, we have two more things to discuss. What are the two more things to discuss? First, let us say we are trying to run the backtracking search algorithm. Then, how do we pick which variable to set first, and how do we pick which value of that variable to set first? Okay. So, this is our first goal, which variable should be assigned next and in what order should the values be tried. Let us first answer these two questions, these are easy enough questions, and then we will talk about detecting failures. So, suggestions, I need suggestions from you. Which variable do you want to assign next? For example, let us say that I am at, let us say this variable, this node. What node is this? Let us say Western Australia has been assigned red, nothing else has been assigned so far. Which variable do you want to assign next? I need a suggestion. Who? There was a, yes, what's your name? Nisarg. Yes, Nisarg. Immediate adjacent states. Now, the notion of adjacency is a notion of map coloring. But let us think about variables and values here. They are general variables, they are general values, and you have some constraints. So, which variable do you want to assign next? Yes, what's your name? You want to assign South Australia next. Why? It has maximum constraints. What's your name? Yash. So, Yash says that I want to assign South Australia next because it has maximum constraints. Maximum constraints. So, intuitively the idea is that any variable which is most constrained should be assigned first. It is like this. So, suppose an administrative person needs to schedule a meeting between me and the director. Who does this administrative person ask first? Me or the director? You guys are too nice. But seriously, you will not get a job as an administrative person if you did that. So, who do you assign first? The director. And let us say there was a meeting between me and Shah Rukh Khan. Who do you ask first? Yes, I mean they do not know that I am actually busier than Shah Rukh Khan, right. So, who would you assign first, the busy person or the Vella person? Okay, now you gave the right answer. If you had said the Vella person, then I would know what you think of me as. Okay, so yes, so you always want to check the busy person first. Why? Because they have too many more constraints. It is possible that I say, oh, let us meet Wednesday afternoon, and then the director said I am busy. Then I say let us meet Wednesday morning, the director says, oh, I am busy. So, in that case, why do not the director say when he wants to meet, and then I will see if I can say I am busy or not. So, that is the point. Now, what are the indicators? What are various indicators for how busy a variable is or how constrained a variable is? Very good. One is what Yash said. Let us look at the degree of the variable. And there is one more that is very important. Yes, what's your name? Path. Set of possible values. Set is not enough. Size of possible values. So, this leads us to the choice of variable ordering. It is that we should first assign the variable which has the minimum remaining values. For example, if I have assigned red to Western Australia and green to Northern Territory, then I must assign South Australia next, because it has only one value remaining. If I have assigned Western Australia initially, I can assign any one of Northern Territory and South Australia, because both have two variables, two values remaining. So, this is called the minimum remaining values heuristic. And then sometimes this minimum remaining values heuristic gives the same number for multiple variables. In such a case, we use Yash's idea, and we have a tie breaking heuristic called the degree heuristic. The degree heuristic says choose the variable with the most constraints on the remaining variables. Notice that this has to do at every step of the search. So, we have to talk about remaining variables, remaining values, and so on and so forth. Okay. So, for example, if I actually use minimum remaining values and tie break with degree heuristic, I will start with South Australia. I will start with South Australia because it has the maximum degree, and therefore assigning it would make our life simpler, right. And then after we assign South Australia, now the values of all the other variables, there are only 2. So, again degree heuristic comes into the picture. So, the degree heuristic says assign the one which has the maximum degree. Now, there are many which have degree 2, like Northern Territory, Queensland, New South Wales, they all have degree 2. So, now you can do random tie breaking. So, you assign Northern Territory first. Once you assign Northern Territory, now you have to talk about minimum remaining values. So, Western Australia has minimum remaining value 1, Queensland has minimum remaining value 1. So, you assign one which has the higher degree between the two. So, between the two, Queensland has a higher degree because it has a degree of 1 with New South Wales, whereas Western Australia has degree 0 with the unassigned variables. And so, you assign Queensland next, and this process goes on. Okay. So, this is my variable ordering heuristic. It is called a heuristic and not an algorithm. The algorithm is a backtracking search algorithm. The heuristic, and this is not heuristic function of admissibility, this is different. This is a heuristic, this is a way to reorder. You could have ordered in any which way, and different ordering will lead to valid algorithm, but by choosing an order perfectly, or not perfectly, but at least intelligently, you will be saving on the search significantly. Right. So, now the next question is, which value do I assign first? Now, you may not get this from this example, but intuitively which value should I assign first? Value which is shared by least number of people is one suggestion. Again, it is a very good suggestion for map coloring, but we have to do something general. We have to talk about general variables, general values, general constraints, and so on and so forth. So, what is the generalization of that particular idea? Value which is shared by least number of variables, what is the generalization? What do you mean by value which can be satisfied? Right, again you are assuming that you have only inequality constraints. We may not only have inequality constraints. So, when your idea is dead on, you are not able to generalize from map coloring to a general constraint satisfaction problem. So, the intuition is right. If I have not used red so far, let me use red, or if red has been assigned the least number of times so far, then let me use red. Okay, that sort of an intuition. What's the name? Harsh. That sort of an intuition Harsh has. But at this point, we need to go beyond that, because we may not only have coloring problem, we not only have inequality constraints. So, how would you generalize this? Which value do you try? What's your name? Chinmay. Yes, Chinmay. Least recently used. Again, the same intuition. You are saying least recently used is better because I have, let's say everybody has a different value. Every variable has a different value, and there are some inequality constraints like x1 is equal to y1 plus 1 and so on and so forth. I mean, we are talking about general constraint satisfaction, not only map coloring problem. But we are given constraints. Yes. The value that can sort of fit in into large number of constraints, that's appropriate. What's your name? Saigon. So, Saigon says values that can fit in into large number of constraints. Now, let us think about what is the meaning of fitting in, because if a value does not fit in into some constraints, then it's a failure. It's a failure. If there is a value that cannot fit into a constraint, that cannot satisfy a constraint, it is definitely a failure. We need to move back, we need to backtrack. But your intuition is spot on. Okay? So, how do we operationalize this whole idea that the value has to sort of fit into more constraints? But what does that mean? What does that mean? Yes.
Adding a value, we should have increased the number of constraints on the further on the row. We should narrow the search space.
Oh, you are saying that after adding the value, we should narrow the search space. That means that less values for other variables. And if we have less remaining values for other variables, what's going to happen? We might get into a failure. We may not have a solution because we have constrained the problem more. If we want a solution, what do we want? We want to have maximum values remaining for other variables. I understand your intuition path, but think about it. If we narrow our search space, our search will move faster, but it is possible that it will fail.
It will fail if we are not taking all the constraints beforehand. If we know all the constraints.
We always know all the constraints. Okay? Think about it, then let us discuss if there is a confusion. So, the heuristic that comes out is called the least constraining value. The value which constrains the other variables the least. You have some variables that have been assigned, let us get away from them. You have some variables that have been unassigned. For all those variables, I have picked one variable, okay, fine. I want to assign this, I have different values. Now, as soon as I assign a value, other variables may find some reduction in their value space, right. And if I find that there is one value which reduces everybody's space, domain, possible values much more, and another space that reduces their domains less, then we will pick the one that reduces their domain less in the hope that we will find a solution in this subtree. If and backtrack, what you said path would be better, that we would take the one that is most constrained, but we do not want to succeed. So, we will pick a variable. So, it is like this, you know that more faculty members are free on Wednesday afternoon because there are no classes. So, now you talk to the director, you said we want to do a meeting, the director says, you know, I can do a meeting on Monday morning or Wednesday afternoon. Which value do you try first? You try first the value which is Wednesday afternoon. You try the value which most likely looks like least constraining to other people. Most likely the other faculty members would not have a class at that time, they will be free, right. So, let us try this. So, you know, initially everything is equal. So, we put Western Australia red, then when we are assigning Northern Territory, we assign it green, and then when we are going to Queensland, let us say, now we figure out which one is least constraining. So, by doing blue here, we have no possible value remaining for South Australia, and by doing red here, we have one possible value remaining for South Australia, and so this one is less constraining. So, let us try red first, and if you try red first, then it will not fail, you will actually find a solution. Now, just combining these two heuristics, remember that earlier we said that backtracking search can get to 25 queens. Just by combining these two heuristics, minimum remaining value with degree heuristic and least constraining value, gets us to 1000 queens problems. Notice by this just small modification, we have done such a huge jump in our ability to solve constraint satisfaction problem.